God and firm foundation. Our God and firm foundation, our rock, the only solid ground. Nations rise and fall, kingdoms once strong now shaken, but we trust forever in your name, the name of Jesus. Whoa, we trust the name of Jesus. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. Unmatched in all your wisdom, unmatched in all your wisdom, in love and justice you will reign, and every knee will bow. We bring our expectations, our hope is anchored in your name, the name of Jesus. Whoa, we trust the name of Jesus. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are victorious. We lift our banner high. We lift our banner high. We lift the name of Jesus. From age to age you reign. Your kingdom has no end. We lift our banner high. We lift the name of Jesus. From age to age you reign. Your kingdom has no end. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. You are the only King forever. Almighty God, we lift you higher. You are the only King forever, forevermore. You are victorious. Philippians 2 verse 12 says, "Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only as in my presence, but much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you both to will and to work for his good pleasure. Do all things without grumbling or disputing, that you may be blameless and innocent children of God, without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast to the word of life, so that in the day of Christ I may be proud that I did not run in vain or labor in vain. And even if I am to be poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrificial offering of your faith,
I'm glad and rejoice with you all. Likewise, you also should be glad and rejoice with me. Now, Paul is writing this letter to the Philippians, and he's trying to encourage them to say, just because I'm in your presence and you respect me and you respect my teaching, don't, once I leave, neglect the things that I taught you, but pursue your faith. Don't keep going, keep finishing this race that we have started. And so often we can become complacent in our Christianity and in our faith. And Paul is telling us to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, saying, take it seriously. Take your faith seriously. Don't stop. Don't stop pursuing the Lord. But here's the encouraging thing this morning is that it's not up to you. We have a helper, the Holy Spirit, who is in us. And Paul says that God is the one that works in us to do good things. And so this morning we're going to sing this song, Lord, I Need You. And that is such an important prayer to have for us all. Sometimes we come into this place and forget why we're here, or forget the truth that we need God's help. And He has provided a way for us, but we need to, in humility, surrender to that and recognize that we are weak, but through Him we are strong. So let's celebrate that and worship this morning.
Lord, I come, I confess, bowing here, I find my rest. Without you, I fall apart. You're the one that guides my heart. Church, let's sing this together. Lord, I need you, oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness, oh God, how I need you. Where sin runs deep, your grace is more. Where grace is found is where you are. And where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Where you are, so teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. 'Cause Jesus, you're my hope and stay. And when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. 'Cause Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you, oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness, oh God, how I need you. Oh, hour. Every hour I need you. You're my one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Bring it all to peace. The storm surrounding me, let it break. At your name, still, call the sea to still, the rage in me to still every wave. At your name, Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, breathe, call these bones to live, call these lungs to sing once again. I will praise Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, we sing that again. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, oh, your name is alive. Your name is alive that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Yes, your name cannot be overcome. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, oh. We sing your name is a light. 'Cause your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive that the shadows approach the throne of glory. Nothing in my hands I bring, but the promise of acceptance from a good and gracious King. So I will give to you my burden, as you give to me your strength. Come and fill me with your spirit, as I sing to you this praise. We sing, you deserve the greater glory. You deserve the greater glory. Overcome, I lift my voice to the King in need of nothing. Empty-handed I rejoice. You deserve the greater, you deserve the greater glory. Overcome with joy I sing. It's by your love I am accepted, as your good and gracious King. And oh, grace that you would see me as your child and as your friend, safe, secure in you forever. I pour out my praise again, 'cause you deserve the greater glory. Overcome, I lift my voice to the King in need of nothing. Empty-handed I rejoice. Oh, you deserve the greater glory. Overcome with joy I sing. It's by your love I am accepted, as your good and gracious King. We sing holy. Holy, holy, Lord Almighty, good and gracious, good and gracious. Holy, holy, Lord Almighty, good and gracious King. We sing holy, 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 Lord Almighty, good and gracious, good and gracious. Holy, holy, Lord Almighty, good and gracious King. You deserve the greater, you deserve the greater glory. Overcome, I lift my voice to the King in need of nothing. Empty-handed I rejoice. You deserve the greater, you deserve the greater glory. And overcome with joy I sing. It's by your love I am accepted, as your good and gracious King. lift my voice to the King in need of nothing. Empty-handed I rejoice. You deserve the greater glory. And overcome with joy I sing. By your love I am accepted. 'Cause you're a good and gracious King.
Amen. We're going to continue in worship as we receive our offering. So would you have a seat and bow your heads as the ushers come forward?
Well, hey, good morning. We're starting this series. Well, we've started it and we've been in it, and it's called No Other Gods. Now, I prefaced this series at the beginning of when we started gearing up for it, that you are at the beginning stage of your eternity. That this is the first phase of your eternity. And No Other Gods is to help us prepare for that eternity, because what we're going to be doing is God has roles for us. God has jobs for us. He has things in store for us to discover, to experience, and it's going to be a life of worship. And No Other Gods is designed to teach you to start living that life today, to start experiencing who God is in His fullest today. And that is done by exposing certain things in our lives. We might have idols, we might have things and distractions, but this is for you to get more of who God is, to penetrate your soul. So getting rid of the filth that we came into the relationship with. Remember I said last time as we came in, we were saved, and what were we saved from? We were saved from our sins, but God didn't ask you to change your behavior. He asked you to believe, and you came in with the same behavior. You came in with the same traits into the relationship with Him. And I have found in my journey with Christ that whenever I have a problem or a repeated issue in my life, it's generally there's something in there that's clogging the heart of my life, clogging the arteries to connect with God per se. And so what I want to do is I have to examine myself, and I think each of us, we're never too old, never too young to start examining ourselves, to finding those idols, those things that have gotten in the way of our relationship. And so that's what I want us to do today, is we're going to start examining that, because we want to live this life together with Christ. We want to live a life full of worship, because you can worship in your daily tasks, not just here on stage or out there. It is something that we do throughout our lives. It's a life of worship, a life giving yourself to God. And so you are giving Him, as the song said, He deserves the greater glory. He deserves you, all of you. And we want to experience that, because when we give Him all of us, He penetrates our hearts. So let's just dive in. Today's going to be a little bit different. Today's going to be a kind of a lecture. It's going to be a lot of note-taking, because I believe this is very crucial. So if you have this photographic memory, I think that's wonderful. If you don't, I give you permission to pull out your cell phone, because there might be some slides you want to take a picture of, because you may not be able to jot them down. In your life groups this week, you'll have information on there too that you'll be able to get a hold of, to talk about more about the things that we're going to really pan out and discuss today. Because what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to spot an idol. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about some big cow, but the idol in your life. Okay, how to spot them. And we are great at hiding our idols. And I just want to share with you an example about that. And it's back in Genesis 31, okay? And I'm just going to tell you the story a little bit. It's about Jacob and his wife. Now, Jacob is the grandson of Abraham, and he wanted a wife. And he fell in love with Rachel. And so he went to work for Rachel for 7 years, but his father-in-law to be, Laban, excuse me, he he tricked him, and he got him to marry Rachel's oldest sister. And so now he has to work another 7 years to get the woman that he desires and he wants to be his wife. And so he works hard, works for Laban for 14 years. In the process, he becomes wealthy. He gets flocks, and he's like ready to go, and he's served out his time. He has his 2 wives, and he's ready to head back to his promised land, to the land that he's from. And so he says to his wives, he says, hey, I want to get out of here. I don't like your dad. And they go, we don't like him either. Let's get out of here because we don't want to live here either. So let's go. So they decide, let's pack up and we'll take off when he's not around, when he's tending his flocks. And so I want to share with you what happens in verse 19 of chapter 31. It reads this. When Laban was gone to shear his flock, then Rachel stole the household idols that were her father's. Okay, so she's sitting there going, hey, you know what? I don't want any part of my dad. I'm going to follow Jacob, and Jacob worships Yahweh and a new God, and I'm going to follow him. But you know what? Though I don't like my father-in-law, though I don't like that, and I don't really follow those gods anymore, I'm still going to take those idols with me. I don't want to live without them. And so many of us, what we've done in our lives is we've accepted Christ, but we kind of go back to the old life and we grab hold of that idol and bring it back with us. And so she does this. Now, what happens is Laban comes home and he realizes, hey, Jacob's gone. My daughters are gone. I didn't get to say goodbye. And look, my idols are gone. So he chases after Jacob. And we find what happens next, and it's in chapter 31 in verse 34. It says, now Laman's come in, he's come back, and he's heard, like he's going, where are my idols? You know, I want to say goodbye to my daughters, but where are my idols? And look what Rachel does. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in a camel's saddle, and she sat on them, and Laman felt through the tent and did not find him. Real quick before we go any further. And so here he is, he's just like, hey, you know, where's my idols? I wanted to kiss my daughters goodbye, and we didn't. And Jacob says, we didn't take them. And whoever did take them, they deserve to die, you know? And he goes, search around, I dare you. So he goes in there and searches. Now, Rachel has hidden those idols. Now, we see in verse 35, and she said to her father, do not let my Lord be angry that I cannot rise before you. For the manner of a woman is upon me. So he searched and he did not find the household idols. Then Jacob became angry and contended with Laban. And Jacob said to Laban, says, what is my transgression? What is my sin that you have come hotly and pursued me? So what he's saying here is what we see what has happened is Rachel took her idols